Guys, Rogues here, bringing another XY Wi-Fi battle. Actually, I'm gonna bring two battles this game, this video, because I haven't uploaded in a while, and I had these battles not too long ago, and I figure they aren't, well, they're upload worthy, I guess. So this first battle is against a guy named Yavir. He was the first person to respond when I asked for a battle at the place I go, and he's got a OU-UU mixed team, it seems. He's got Drachi, Infernape, Umbreon representing his UU. You got your Dragonite, your Greninja, your Venusaur for OU. I was trying out a couple of things with this team. I was trying out a dual Lati core. We got my favorite set, Choice Specs Latios. And then I've got my Defog Latias, especially defensive. And I've got my... And I wanted to try out a Steelix on this team too, because I got it a while back, and I like Steelix, so I wanted to try it out. Mine is a Stealth Rock set with 3 attacks. So let's just jump in and see what this battle is like. Yavir is, yeah, the guy who had just responded. So I've never played him before, and so I don't know what his skill is like at this point in the battle. He leads off with his Drachi. I feel perfectly fine going for my Stealth Rocks, because that's what I let off with Goldeneye. Goldeneye, my shiny Steelix. I let off with him in order to get the rocks up as quick as possible. And after the Serene Grace boost of Drachi to Fire Punch, he's still only got a 20% chance of burning. So I really don't feel uncomfortable staying in, especially given how little the Fire Punch actually does. After getting my rocks up, since he has I have no reason to switch out. He's just trying to fish for burns. I go for the Earthquake. I get a crit. A little unfortunate. It's actually very unfortunate because with those rocks up, he's so low that he can't switch back in. He's just going to die on the switch in. And oddly enough, he does switch out. I just went for Earthquake because he had no reason to switch out, really. And this Dragonite, Puff the shiny Dragonite, unstab, Earthquake, but it doesn't do a whole lot. Even if it's on stab, that's coming from a Dragonite, who I assume is pretty max, who's really invested in attack, I assume, because that Gyro Ball didn't do a whole lot, which tells me that he's not heavily invested in speed, most likely. I could be wrong, though. And since he's playing pretty predictably at this point in the game, I'm just gonna go into Latios, because I have no reason not to. He's probably going to he's probably going to just go for Earthquake again, since he's not making any plays. I get off the Dragon Pulse. It easily KOs him from that range, since multi-scale wasn't intact. And then the Drachi just switches in. Drachi dies on the switch in, as I said. So really questionable switch out for him at that point. And I don't want to stay in on an Umbreon, because specs are not, Umbreon still does a decent job of taking on my Latios. I mean, maybe I'd be able to small chance to hit KO with Specs Dragon Pulse, but I don't think so. And my Conch Elder is a pretty safe switch in, because Conch Elder kind of counters Umbreon. If he goes for a status, I got Guts. And then Foul Play doesn't do a whole lot. So I just go for the Drain Punch, because I have not much reason not to. I want to weaken the Umbreon as fast as possible. But he sends in his Infernape, which really wasn't his best switch in, because he had a Venusaur, and that Venusaur could have gotten the Mega off really easily. So his Infernape dies because combined Drain Punch and Mach Punch. I don't want to take an Extra Sensory from this Greninja, because I know a Mach Punch won't kill it. So I just go into the Caesar to resist the Extra Sensory, and judging by the way he brought it in, that's what I was assuming he was going to go for. And I was correct. Now, here, I thought he would switch out, and I like to carry Pursuit on my Caesar, just a personal thing, not expected nowadays. But he doesn't switch out, oddly enough. I'm not sure how much a Bullet Punch would have done. Probably wouldn't have killed, because I mean, he wouldn't have been resisting it, but it probably would have done a fair amount. But he stays in, goes for a Scald. I'm so glad he didn't get the burn. Really wouldn't have mattered though. And I just get a Pursuit off that just 60 base power Dark type move and doesn't do a whole lot. And I don't want to take another Scald with Caesar because I don't think Caesar is going to take it well. Probably would die. And he goes for the Ice Beam, I guess predicting the Lottie switch in, but my Conch Elder was a safe enough switch in, so I just went into him. Now I know he has to switch out because the Mach Punch is really obvious. So at this point I go for the Ice Punch, predicting the Venusaur switch in, which is great because the Venusaur isn't Mega yet, so Thick Fat, it doesn't have Thick Fat. And I get to take out that thing right when it switches in. The crit, I'm assuming, really probably did matter, which is pretty unfortunate for him. But I hate Mega Venusaur, so I'm glad I got that out of the way. And then all he has left is Greninja and Umbreon, so he forfeits because Conch Elder at that point 1v1s both of them. Alright, so good game, Yavir. This next battle is against a guy I've played multiple times before. I was thinking this could be a good battle. And he's got a pretty standard OU team except for the Celebi. But Celebi, I guess, isn't that unstandard, I guess. And I switched up my team a little because since I know this guy and I know his skill, I didn't want to keep a Steelix on my team if I was trying to get a more serious team. And I still kept my dual Lotties, and I switched out Steelix for the I switched out the Steelix for a Heatran, to a Stealth Rocking Heatran, and the Charizard. I'd switch out my Mega Charizard Y for the Thundurus, because I haven't tried out this Thundurus yet, so I wanted to give it a try. And let's just go into this battle. Ariel issuing a challenge. I lead off with my Latios because looking at his team, it seems like a pretty safe lead. He leads off with his Celebi. I go for the Dragon Pulse right away because I don't want to predict anything on the first turn. That was probably my safest move. And, well, that was pretty unfortunate for him to say the least. I'm positive, given Celebi's base 100 and everything, bulk invested or not, I'm positive that crit mattered. And since I'm choice locked, I have to switch out against his Azumarill. I'm anticipating to play rough, so I've got a pretty safe switch in Caesar for the play rough. But given how much that does, and that does way too much, now I know he's choice banded, and I'm predicting him to switch out. So I just go for a U-turn, get my offensive momentum, and in my switch initiative. He doesn't have Rocky Helmet, so he's got to have the leftovers, which really sucks because the leftovers will just bring him back to full now, since the U-turn really didn't do anything. That's coming from a max attack, max HP Caesar. And I know he has to switch out because his Skarmory's got to be the thing on his team to put up the rocks, I'm assuming. So I go for the Hidden Power, anticipating the Garchomp switch in, and it really does pay off because Garchomp could have been an annoyance, a threat to my team otherwise, but I get to take it out really early, which is nice. Now he's got this Heatran in, and he's got his own Heatran, and it's got an Air Balloon, which is pretty unfortunate because I've got to play around that balloon before I can Earth Power it with my own Heatran or anything. And I go into my Latios just to take any one hit he has. And I go for the Surf because my Latios has Surf. I'm not really sure why. I should probably switch that with something more optimal. And I just go for the safe Surf because I want to get rid of that balloon, which ends up being a pain for me because he switches in the Azumarill, so I would have been much better off going for the Psyshock and 2-hit KOing him. I know he's going to predict my Caesar switch in at this point, and I just switch into Latios because Latios, he hasn't put up rocks yet. Latios isn't going to be as useful in this match. So my set is Dual Stab. I've got Psyshock, I've got Dragon Pulse, and I've got Wish and Defog. I figure since it's minimally invested in... My Latios is minimally invested in in its special attack, Psyshock wouldn't be doing much. So I go for the Wish to and I want to Wish pass to my Latios to get the get HP back. And he goes into his Caesar. I get my Wish off, which is pretty nice. And I don't want to reveal it yet, but I have the Hidden Power Fire on my Latios, and I'm anticipating him, and I just don't want to risk the switch. So I just sacrifice my Latios for Death Fodder to see what he's going to go into, since I'm anticipating a U-turn, but don't want to risk it at this point in the battle, if that makes any sense. And he brings in his Heatran, which is alright for me, I guess. I get to go into Conch Elder, because Conch Elder is I get to bring in Conch Elder pretty safely. He has to switch out because he wants to preserve that air balloon, I'm assuming. And he switches into his Skarmory, which I do predict. And it's a pretty safe switch in. I can't do much to Skarmory other than knock off its leftovers, which is a really nice help here. And he goes for his... I'm anticipating he's just going to want to get up his rocks right now. And since he's not that sturdy, I can just take him out with a Thunderbolt. And I know he has no switch into this Thunderbolt, because everything left is going to get one O-Code or 2-hit KO'd by a Thunderbolt from this Life Orb Thundurus. Even the Heatran, which I don't know how much special bulk it has, but it's a solid 2-hit KO. So I really think that was a questionable play of his switching his Heatran into it. He should have just sacked his Skarmory. And he goes into his Choice Banded Azumarill. I know I can take an Aqua Jet, so I'm just going to stay in. And I do. And the Thunderbolt's obviously easily going to kill it at that range. Or it'd probably kill it from full anyway. Even though I did live, the Life Orb Soil took me out, which is perfectly fine. Thundurus did its job, so nice job, Thundurus. And now I pretty much win the game because I've got Hidden Power Fire on my Latios, and even if I didn't, I could just go in with Heatran. And he doesn't anticipate the Hidden Power Fire. I just go for it. Choice Specs, Hidden Power Fire. Going to take out that Latios going to take out the Caesar pretty easily. And since he's not at Sturdy anymore, I'm pretty sure this Hidden Power is going to kill. And even if it doesn't, I've got safe switch-ins, I guess. Well, Heatran can 1v1 him most likely. So good game, Ariel. I've been trying to get a couple battles that would make me predict and think more. And hopefully I do, because I want to get back into this as much as I used to be. I made these, I was looking for these battles and made these teams because, well, I live really close by to where the VGC World Championships were this year, and I went there on Saturday. It was pretty nice. It was really great. But I made these teams, and I made a VGC team with what I had in anticipation of possibly battling just some people there, but unfortunately I didn't battle anyone. I was looking for some while waiting in lines and such, but no one responded to a battle, which was a little disappointing, but oh well. So, see you guys next time with another Wi-Fi battle.